Hello everyone, I'm witness Eunike Margaretta will present a little thing about typology. Typology is the study of how languages differ and how they are similar. Typology used to identify typological similarities and differences between language families. Linguistic typology is the study of how languages are constructed and how they are related to one another. There are various varieties of linguistic typology with set of characteristics, similarities, distinctions, strength, and look for patterns and universal across languages. Now, typology of language refers not only to linguistics but also to anthropology, psychology, and cognitive science. In this video, we'll show you 3 of language typology theories from different experts. So, the theory from Smith is...
Hold up, wait a minute.
First of all, we must know about wave theory that proposed by Smith, which has related to language typology. So, wave theory is a theory of language chains that propose that linguistic features spread over geographical region and historical periods, which leads to the development of various language family and subfamilies. According to this theory, waves of language chains spread outside from the central point, commonly the political or cultural center, and can influence neighbor language or even the dialects. And the relation between wave theory and language typology is that Smith's idea of language waves help in the development of field of linguistic typology. Linguistic typology is concerned with categorizing and comparing the structural features of languages across the world. Smith focused on the historical relation between languages as shown through the spread of linguistic features over the period of time, resulted in the development of genetic and areal typology. Genetic typology is concerned with grouping languages into families based on historical links, whereas the areal typology is concerned with identifying similarities and differences between languages that are geographically close to one another. Smith's wave theory significantly impacted how linguists view the study of language chains and variety. Different with Smith, Humboldt's typology theory was founded on the idea that language was an expression of the human mind and each language reflected the different way of thinking. He claimed that the grammatical structure of a language represented the people who spoke it. He believed that the cultural and the historical environment in which language developed affect the grammatical categories, and he also believed that each culture has own worldview, which is formed by variables such as language, historical, geographical, and social organization. For the example, Navajo, a Native American spoken language in the southwestern United States, is a language that could be examined using Humboldt's theory of typology. Navajo has a complex grammatical structure that reflects the Navajo people's unique worldview and culture. The Navajo language uses a system of a verb classifier to indicate the shape, texture, and the other characteristics of the object in the world. It represents the Navajo belief in the interconnectivity of all things in the nature and the importance of paying attention to detail and nuance. It can give insight into the nature of language structure and its relationship to human cognition and communication. Last but not least, we have Stewart theory. He stated that typology refers to a classification system for multilingual nations based on social-linguistic factors that influence the use of language. He defined 4 categories of multilingual state depending on their linguistic conditions, such as diglossic nation, pluricentric nation, multilingual nation, and polylingual nation. First, diglossic nations are those that employ 2 separate versions of the same language for different reasons. Diglossia is a linguistic phenomenon in which a single language group employs 2 distinct varieties or registers of the same language for different reasons or in different contexts. One of the varieties is usually considered to be the high or prestigious variety, used in a formal situation such as education, literature, or media, and the other is recognized as the low and everyday variety, used in informal or non-official contexts such as family, friends, or everyday conversation. For example, India. India has 22 official languages along with so many regional languages and dialects. Hindi and English are the official languages used in education, government, and media. Whereas regional languages such as Tamil, Telugu, Bengali, and others are used during daily conversation. Second, pluricentric nations are countries that utilize two or more standard versions of the same language, each having its own pronunciation, grammar, and even vocabulary. These languages are usually connected with pluricentric nations, which are regions with multiple centers of power or influence in which different language communities coexist. The example of pluricentric language is English. English is a pluricentric language with many diverse variants spoken around the world, such as American English, Canadian English, Australian English, and many more. There are standard forms of each of these varieties as well as non-standard varieties such as African American Vernacular English and Cockney English. Next, multilingual nations are those in which two or more languages are used for communication and there is no dominant language. These countries often have a complex linguistic landscape with various languages used for different reasons in different situations. Canada is the example of multilingual nations. Canada is the multilingual country with English and French as official language. Both languages are actively used in government, education, and the media, and the large percentage of Canadians are bilingual or multilingual. Polylingual nations are those countries that speak a variety of languages frequently as a result of colonization or migration. These nations may have many official languages or even maybe no one, and their linguistic diversity often reflects a complex history of cultural and political interactions. Example of polylingual nation is Belgium. Belgium has 3 official languages: Dutch, French, and German. The nation's linguistic diversity represents its complicated history of both political and cultural relations between Dutch-speaking Flanders and French-speaking Wallonia. So the similarities between these theories are all the theories involve the classification and the categorization of the languages, and all of them recognize the role of cultural and historical factor in developing language and their structure. While the differences have seen in the speech typology theory as based on the comparative method and focus on identifying similarities and differences between related language, while Humboldt's typology theories emphasize the unique worldview and cultural expression of each language. William Stewart typology theories focus on sociolinguistic factors that influence language use, rather than on historical or cultural factors. Smith and Humboldt's theories are more concerned with the grammatical structure of language, while Stewart's theories focus on the language use in the multilingual society. So that's all for me. Have a good day. Thank you.